Welcome to episode 4 of the Average Geek Show. My name is Brian.
My name's Philippe.
Hey, Philippe, how you doing today, man?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, another day, another dollar.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess we're on, what, episode 4 now?
Episode 4. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It seems like just yesterday. So in this week's episode, we are going to be doing our top 10 comic book movies. Superheroes, anti-heroes, super anti-heroes.
Yep, all of the above, baby.
All right, so in this episode, like I said, we're going to be talking about our favorite comic book movies. Now, these aren't necessarily going to be your favorite comic book movies, but that's what our Facebook page is for. That's facebook.com/Average Geek Show Official.
And you can also hit us up on Twitter at Average Geek Show.
And as always, anything that we talk about, any websites that we mention will be linked in the show notes. So before we get started, though, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. We got some special things coming up for you that we want to let you know about, get you involved in, see what you have to think. And that is going to be our comic book club.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited about this.
Oh, me too. And especially our first one, because I just finished reading it. Oh my God, it blew my mind. Such a great recommendation from our friend Shannon at Comics and Stuff in El Cajon. Awesome, awesome recommendation. And we'll definitely tell you what that is. But our first comic book club, okay, a little bit about it. This is going to be, dare I say it, it's going to be like Oprah's book club. But it's going to be much more awesome because it's going to deal all with comic books. And what we're going to do is a couple weeks ahead of time, we're going to tell you which comic book we're reading so that you have a chance to go out, pick it up if you don't already have it, read through it, and then participate in the discussion. So in 2 weeks from the date this podcast is released, we are going to get together and talk about the comic book. And it's a pretty hefty one. It's not a thin book. It's probably going to be in the neighborhood of about $20. So it's a little pricey, but they're not all going to be like that. And our first comic book that we're going to review is called Maus. M-A-U-S. It's the German spelling. Yeah. Good German spelling. Yeah. I think I do that every podcast.
I think you do too.
Yay. My name is Klaus. I like to read the comic books. Yeah. Okay, so, and Maus is a really interesting story. It's not a happy-go-lucky, touchy-feely comic book. It is the story of a Holocaust survivor, and it's actually written and illustrated by this Holocaust survivor's son, Art Spiegelman. It is phenomenal, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger. I can't wait to pick up the second book in the series. Philippe is reading it right now. So you've got some time, go out, pick it up, read it. It's money well spent. It's just, it hooks you in.
Yeah, I just started reading this, like you said, and I'm about already halfway through. It's only the first day I've been reading it, and I'm already halfway through the book, and it's amazing. The only reason I had to stop reading it is because I was on my lunch break.
Yeah, and it does tend to hook you in like that. I think I finished it in one day.
Wow.
But I was up reading till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was really good. This book is phenomenal. I guarantee you will not be disappointed unless, of course, you're one of those people that thinks the Holocaust did not exist, in which case, screw you. But definitely pick it up. It's a good read. The art style is very different. Essentially, I don't want to go too much into it because we obviously want you to read it so that we can discuss. But the art style is a little basic.
Yeah.
And which I think is good because it's not detracting from the story. I mean, what really gets you is the story of this book.
Yeah, and I think you're right on that. I think the whole premise of making the illustration so basic is so you get really hooked into that story, and it's great.
Absolutely. All right, so that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Be ready for that. And also, we'll go ahead and we'll pin our Maus discussion to the top of the page on Average Geek Show Official. That's the Facebook page. And I think we'll also put it up on the website so that we can go ahead and get some feedback there. So with that, I think we're going to move on into our top 10 comic book movies.
10 comic book movie list was actually a lot harder for me than I thought it would, because there's so many damn good movies out there.
And it could be because you never finished middle school.
That could be.
You make it too easy. All right, so kind of how we're going to do this is we're going to go back and forth. Philippe's going to say his number 10. I'm going to say my number 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, and so forth. All right, so what's your number 10?
See, at number 10 on my list, I was actually introduced to this movie by my former boss. My former boss was really into the Asian films, like Korean independent films, Japanese independent films. It was really good. This movie is based off of the manga book called Old Boy. It's basically where a guy it starts off where a guy totally gets shit-faced, and he's like taken hostage, and he's held in this like room for like 15 years, and eventually he gets thrown back into society, and once he finds out who his captors are, he goes on like this big rampage to like try to find his captors, try to find his daughter, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really, really good. The story is absolutely amazing. The cinematography in this movie is phenomenal. I mean, this movie was so freaking good that Spike Lee decided, I think I'm going to do a version of this. And he got Josh Brolin himself as the main character.
You might even say he put a Jonah Hex on that movie.
Ba-dum.
That's another show.
But yeah, it was craptacular. So what about you, Brian? What did you have as your number 10?
Well, my number 10 is two films, actually, because I couldn't make a decision. These two films are kind of nostalgic for me because I remember being a kid and watching the first film. Mm-hmm. And then later down the road, I really enjoyed the second film just because I was super into reading when I was younger, and it just kind of tied things up for me and just kind of made it a fun film.
Right.
Now, are these the best films? No, but it's one of my top 10.
Right.
And that is The Rocketeer.
Okay.
And League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I love The Rocketeer because I love that whole different take on, World War II.
Right.
Takes place in L.A. The main character, he's a pilot, he's a mechanic, he's kind of jack of all trades, wants to win this big air race with the planes. The big air race with the planes, everything's happy and fun. Yay! So he wants to become, an airplane racer.
Yeah.
That's his dream. And then he finds this jetpack, that some inventor has made. And, he becomes the Rocketeer, saves the damsel in distress, defeats the bad guy who happens to be James Bond, but in another film. It was Timothy Dalton.
Okay.
Overall, great movie. It reminded me a lot of the Dick Tracy movie they made with Warren Beatty.
Right.
But better. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I'm sure you've all have seen it, ties a bunch of literary characters into this one organization like Justice League, where they go and they stop Professor Moriarty from blowing up the world. It's really awesome. At least I think it was Professor Moriarty. I could be wrong about that, but I'm almost positive it is Moriarty. Now, are they the best rated films? No. There's many films that are much better, but these are movies that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I really liked the car in that movie.
Oh,
that
Captain
car was
Nemo's Roadster?
Ass.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That car alone made me want to watch that movie.
Yeah, the car was pretty awesome, but I loved how, Sean Connery was just like this devil-may-care attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I'm a hunter. I no longer give a shit about the queen.
You do that really well.
Oh, thank you. Let my armies be the rocks and the trees and the birds in the sky. 50 points if you can get the reference.
Nope, sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, he was in the movie with Harrison Ford.
Oh, Indiana Jones 3.
It's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. But
3.
Yes, I'll give you half points on that.
Okay, that's good.
And that's the points going up on the board. All right. So, Philippe, what was your number 9?
My number 9, I saw this movie with a whole bunch of my friends back in Arizona when I used to live in Arizona. I think I was in my 20s when this came out. We used to spontaneously just go to the movie theater, just to see random movies. And we saw this one, which is Blade, with Wesley Snipes. And it's the reason I love this movie so damn much. The first 5 minutes of that movie set the tone for the whole goddamn movie. When they're sitting there in the club, they're dancing, the blood shower comes down, and it's awesome.
It was
so awesome.
It was a really good movie. The two that followed were kind of craptacular.
Oh God, especially the third one. That one was absolute.
You didn't like Jessica?
Garbage.
You didn't like Jessica Biel?
Oh, I loved Jessica Biel in that movie. It was Ryan Reynolds that killed that movie for me.
Oh, come on. Ryan Reynolds was in that movie. He was the part that he was born to play.
You have a serious man crush on Ryan Reynolds.
No,
because of the whole Deadpool thing.
Dude, he is the perfect Deadpool. He is the merc with the mouth.
Because they sewed his mouth shut. That's what made that movie awesome.
We're going to get to that in the next show. We are going to get to that in the next show. That was my number 5. I love Blade. I thought the character development was really good. It felt like you were watching a live action comic book.
Yeah.
They used color really brilliantly, I think. And it was dark. It wasn't what people expected. And bitch, that's how vampires are supposed to be.
Exactly. Not that sparkly little crap that's out now.
I've been in school for so long. I can't deal with my feelings about you. God.
Yeah.
I love the memes where Blade is like coming up behind Edward Cullen.
Oh, good God. If that could only happen. If that could only happen.
We might be seeing it because the rumor is that they're going to be rebooting Blade.
No way.
Marvel has control of Blade once again.
Wow.
And I think it's going to be awesome.
That's going to be awesome.
Awesome sauce.
Who's going to play Blade?
Somebody who has more acting talent than Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, let's hope so. He was pretty perfect for that role, though. He was
perfect for Demolition Man.
Yeah.
They told him, all that thing you call acting, forget it. And just, growl your lines. And those martial arts skills you have, those are great. We love those. But growl your lines.
Hey, but he is going to be in the next Expendables 3.
Because I live for that.
I
love the Expendables movies, but seeing Wesley Snipes in an Expendables movie, not in my top 10 of wishes. I am happy Harrison Ford's going to be in it.
Yeah.
And thank God they're done shooting, because you heard about what happened to Harrison Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Can do the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Can't work a fucking door. All right. So my number 9 stars the really fucking awesome Ron Perlman. And that movie is Hellboy.
Oh, you know what? That was actually on my list, but as an honorable mention. I know we're not talking honorable mentions here, but that's
honorable mention. Nothing.
That's
Hellboy
one
was
hell of a awesome. That is an awesome movie. That's an awesome movie.
So for me, a lot of comic book movies are about the color.
Yeah.
And the use of color, not just the storyline, not just the plot, not just the acting. That's important too. But I really like it when comic book movies really use the color palette.
Yeah.
Because coming from the comics, it makes them look like they were torn off the page.
Totally.
So, and I think Hellboy did a really nice job of this. It was dark, but it had little pops of color.
Yeah.
The storyline was great. Gary Oldman was in it.
Yeah.
It was really fucking great. And I had actually never read the comic before seeing the movie.
Right.
And I think that's what made the difference. Otherwise, I think I probably wouldn't have this on my list if I had done that.
Okay.
But I thought it was just really well done. I hadn't even thought about something like that. And just, you got attached to the characters and you felt their pain.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
I thought Ron Perlman did an awesome job as Hellboy. I mean, I can't even begin to think who else could play Hellboy? I mean,
Yeah, once
quite
you see him
honestly.
as that,
Yeah.
you really can't.
Yeah. And what was really cool, I don't know if you saw this on the internet, it kind of went viral. I think what happened was there was a little boy, he had cancer or something,
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
and he wanted to meet Hellboy. So he spent, so Ron Perlman, I guess they got all the makeup artists from Hellboy and
I think it was like 6 hours in the makeup chair for him to get to the Hellboy stage.
Yeah, yeah. And so he got all done up and went to the hospital as frickin' Hellboy. And then they brought the kid back and then made him up as Hellboy. I mean, how frickin' cool is that?
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron Perlman's great like that. You know, Guillermo del Toro is the director.
Yeah.
And Guillermo del Toro's movies are amazing.
Totally.
And I love his use of, if you want to see like the epitome of how awesome Guillermo del Toro is, go see Pan's Labyrinth, or go, don't rent it, just go buy it. But it's done in like traditional Spanish that they speak in Spain.
Okay.
And it's, of course, with subtitles.
Right.
But the storyline is awesome. The costumes, because it's all practical effects.
Right.
You know, that there's, when you see a monster in that movie, it's because there's some guy in a suit.
Awesome.
And it just says that, or it speaks to Guillermo del Toro's abilities as a director, you know, and how he plans things. It's a gorgeous movie. Go check it out, and then go watch Hellboy, and then you'll appreciate everything and just how everything is practical effects.
Nice.
What they can do with practical effects nowadays is amazing. It's like, why don't we use these more?
Yeah.
But that was my number 9. All right, Philippe, what's your number 8?
My number 8 was Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Ugh.
You didn't like that movie?
Oh. That's actually on my list for the top 10 worst.
No, but the reason I like Spider-Man so much was it caught me off guard. When I first heard that it was Tobey Maguire playing Spider-Man, I was like, really? Really?
Swoon.
Right? But I was really impressed. I was really impressed by the way he portrayed Spider-Man. Now, of course, I thought Kirsten Dunst's acting was terrible. Oh, man, I wish we had a camera right here because poor Brian is ready to shoot his brains out.
The movie was awful. Oh, my God.
So why did it not work for you?
You know, I was never a Spider-Man fan to begin with.
Okay.
I never have been.
Okay.
It just didn't work for me because it was too emo. It was
I can see that.
It was
I can see
way
that.
too emo.
Yep.
Spider-Man is not supposed to be emo, but Spider-Man is supposed to be a lot more like Deadpool, where he's got a big mouth on him. You know, he's not Tobey Maguire's little, hey, Mr. Bad Guy, I hit you with my spider web. Now, if you wanted to replace that, I will give you a pass and let you replace that with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, because that is a damn good Spider-Man movie.
That was a good Spider-Man movie.
Much better than Sam
That
Raimi's.
actually surprised me because I'm not a really big Andrew Garfield fan, but yeah, that was a good one.
And I think the one with Andrew Garfield. Now, I haven't seen the second one because, like I said, I'm not a big Spider-Man fan.
Yeah.
I don't go out seeking Spider-Man movies, but if there's a lot of buzz, I'll go see it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the second one, but the first one I liked. It was good. It felt the way Spider-Man should have felt.
Yeah. Although the evil crocodile is the villain, really?
Well, actually, when I was a kid, they had the Spider-Man cartoon show on Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite villains. Was I can't remember his name, but the
Killer Croc?
No, that was from
that's
Batman.
DC.
That's Batman. You know, him and Doc Ock,
right?
Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
Those were my favorites.
Badass.
But I just couldn't buy Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He was just too passive, and Spider-Man's supposed to be, maybe Peter Parker is passive, but not Spider-Man. He's supposed to be cocky and he's got a mouth on him. And he's an antagonist.
Yeah.
So
that's how he kind of was in Spider-Man 3, though, when Venom took him over.
I never made it that far. One and done, my friend. One and done.
So, Brian, what was your number 8?
Well, my number 8 is, I think, a severely underrated movie, and that is Carl Urban as Dredd.
Oh man, that was really, really underrated. I just watched that a few months ago, and I was shocked by how good it was. I don't know why it didn't do better in the theaters.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the look of the movie. I love how he never took his helmet off. I love the complete lack of "I am the law."
Where you couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying.
God, I had to turn the subtitles on for Judge Dredd because I'm like, wait, what? What did he just grumble? No, and Carl Urban, I love everything this guy does.
Yeah.
He was great as Eomer.
Yep.
He was great as Bones.
Yeah, he really was really freaking great as
He
Bones.
channeled, what was that guy's name?
Oh, DeForest Kelly.
Yeah, DeForest Kelly. He channeled DeForest Kelly in that because his little subtle movements, you were like, Bones.
Yeah, seriously. He did a great
And
job
I love
there.
that line. And, that line that he says, or that I'm about to quote, was completely ad-libbed. Where he looks, him and Chris Pine, Captain Kirk, are talking about, what brought them there. And he's like, my wife got everything in the divorce. All I've got left is my bones.
That's cool.
I'm
I
like,
never knew that. That's awesome.
a great line.
Yeah.
And it was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
And that really kind of explained where he got that name.
Yeah, it really explains the... everybody kind of figured, oh, he's a doctor, Bones.
Right. Yeah.
But that made it a little more poignant. And it said, it's not what you think.
Yeah.
So, but him as Dredd, it was great. The movie was, again, graphically awesome.
Right.
And it was very much, the Judge Dredd that people wanted to see.
Yeah.
Not this, I'm a clone. I don't know what to do. Bad guy's my brother, and I am the law.
You do that so well. You do Sylvester Stallone so well.
I look like I've had a stroke, but I've never had a stroke. I'm just the law. All right, Philippe, so what's your number 7?
My number 7 is X-Men First Class.
X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
I love that choice.
And, I really enjoyed the first 2 X-Men, but the third one... The third one just made me angry.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you clarified that because it sounded like you really liked it there for a second.
No. Third one made me very, very angry. So it was interesting because I don't think I was the only one that felt this. When X-Men First Class came out, I was like, oh, really? We're going to do a prequel? But it was freaking awesome. Michael Fassbender as Magneto. That role was brilliantly cast.
I think so too.
I think Sir Ian McKellen is just Magneto. I mean, when I think of Magneto, I think of him. But
Same
now
with Gandalf.
Yeah, exactly. But now, with Michael Fassbender, he was perfect. He was perfect.
I agree.
And so, in that movie, I think it really paved the way for. Obviously, it paved the way for future X-Men movies.
You mean like X-Men Days of Future Past, the upcoming X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I think they realized they got off track with X-Men 3 and X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Right.
And then they released X-Men First Class, and I think everybody was like, oh, fuck, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't go see it in theaters for that reason.
Really?
I went and rented it, and I was like, oh my God. The next day I returned it, and I bought it on Blu-ray because I was just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad they got back on track with it because, to be honest with you, X-Men was starting to get really, really boring to me.
It was. It really was. And I think they really kind of knew that. I think they really heard what the people were talking about with X-Men 3 and X-Men Origins Wolverine, because I knew that they were going to do an X-Men Origins for Magneto as well. And I think...
But they covered that so well in the other movies.
Oh, no, they totally did.
Like, X-Men First Class just kind of filled in the gaps of how he went from oh, I want to start the school with you, Charles, to I fucking hate you.
Right.
And they also,
Right.
it was nice that they explained how Charles Xavier became paralyzed.
Right. Right.
Because everybody was like, wait, he's walking.
Right.
That's not right.
And it really, I think the thing that I really liked about it is that it explained why they were kind of friends, but they were frenemies.
Yeah. And, you know.
So it was interesting. It was good. Great origin story.
It filled in the gaps, and
Totally.
it filled them in well.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't just we're going to do this story to explain things so we can set up future movies. It was like, no, we're going to make a really good X-Men film,
Right.
And I think they nailed it.
Yeah.
And it, just to tell you how awesome it was, my mom called me, and she's like, we went and saw X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
I'm like, you did? Like, the same woman who used to yell at me for reading comic books instead of doing homework
Yeah.
went and saw a comic book movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And she's like, I loved it, but I thought that Magnet guy's helmet was stupid. I'm like, you mean Magneto? Yeah. He wears that helmet so that Charles Xavier can't read his thoughts. Oh, is that why? I'm like, yes, Mom, that's why.
And it kind of makes
I
him
love
look
you,
like,
Mom. Please
and
don't.
it kind of makes him look like a badass too.
She said it made him look like a walking penis. But I liked that helmet. It was an awesome helmet.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about you, dude? What was your number 7?
My number 7. And once again, this is a nostalgic movie. And for its time, I think it was really underrated. It didn't come out right when everything was getting really popular. It was just kind of a, hey, we really like this comic series. We want to do a movie about it. See where it goes. And it's from Image Comics.
Okay.
Spawn.
I remember seeing that movie in the theaters, and I loved that movie. I thought it was really awesome.
I did too. I mean, I saw it on one of those free pay channel weekends.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I want to be him. You know? It was like one of those kid moments where it's like, I want those powers.
Right? One of my favorite scenes in that movie is when I think he's on like a church or he's on like a tower or something, and he lets his big ass cape out. He's just like kind of peering over the whole city.
Yeah.
He lets his big red cape out, and I was like, that is fucking awesome.
Oh, and I love how his cape like could turn into like a motorcycle. I mean, it's a little
It's
like
ridiculous.
what the fuck,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's so ridiculous. It's awesome.
Exactly.
It was. I just remember that movie being epic, awesome, and like how he'd pull guns out of nowhere. It'd just be like, it's time to die.
Yeah.
But and then John Leguizamo as the spawn of Satan.
Right.
You know, that was really awesome. About the only thing I didn't care for was the look of the devil. I mean, it was like old claymation, and it was like, I'm the devil, but I kind of look like a dog with horns. Other than that, I need to go back and watch it because I remember it being really good.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it now and be like, that is a pile of crap. but for its time, I think it was really good.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Philippe. So what's your number 6?
You know, this was a little difficult for me because I was torn between the two movies for this one superhero, and that's Thor. And so my number 6 is Thor: The Dark World.
Really? Not the first one, but
Not
the second
first
one.
but the second one. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the first one. The first one was awesome, but I really liked the second one a lot better. It just blew my mind. Like
You only liked it because Christopher Eccleston was in it.
Okay, maybe that's why I picked it over that one.
That's all I heard from you when you said, "Dude, I just saw Dark World. Christopher Eccleston was in it. He was awesome. He did this, and this." And I'm like, "Yeah, what about Thor?" Thor was in that? I thought it was just about the Dark Elves.
Right.
When did that happen?
No, but I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really good. I thought the special effects and the CG in that movie were amazing. And I thought the story was put together really well. Christopher Eccleston was in it, who also is my favorite doctor. So that was a plus. But yeah, I loved that movie. I thought Eccleston did really, really well in that movie. I thought Tom Hiddleston did.
Well, Tom Hiddleston is great no matter
he's
what
just
he's in.
yeah, he's just freaking phenomenal.
I loved when he was at Comic-Con last year, and he came out as Loki and addressed the crowd as Loki.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
who is your lord and master? Loki!
My favorite part of that movie was the twist at the end. When
Spoiler?
spoiler?
Maybe. Well, if you haven't seen it yet, tough shit. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Yeah, when Loki was disguised as Odin. And that was awesome. I think I saw it on the day after it came out. And I think when that happened, everyone went,
What? Yeah, because I was like, oh shit, they killed off Loki. Oh, this is going to put a serious cramp in the next phase.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, he's back, and he's still evil. Like, damn it. I was really hoping he turned a page.
It's good to be evil.
Yeah, well, if we can ever get into con, I would love to do an interview with Tom Hiddleston.
Right. Oh, he's awesome.
He does amazing impressions, too.
He really does. He's so freaking talented, that guy.
Yeah.
So, dude, what was your number 6?
Now, my number 6, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of crap about, but I really enjoyed this movie. It totally keeps with my theme of it felt like it was ripped right from the pages of the original comic.
Okay.
And that was Punisher Warzone.
Okay. I've never seen that one. The only one I saw was the Dolph Lundgren one, but
Yeah, another show. No, the Punisher Warzone is kind of like, it wasn't, it was kind of a reboot, kind of a sequel. They didn't use Tom Jane in Punisher Warzone. They used Ray Stevenson.
Huh, okay.
Who I think makes a much better Frank Castle.
Okay.
He's dark, he's brooding, and within like the first 20 minutes of the movie, you see him set his broken nose with a pencil.
Oh,
it's
my
graphic
God.
and bloody, and it's delicious. But it's also very... I watched the bonus features, and the director was talking about how she... And yes, that's right. I said she.
Wow.
A female director directing a bloody, gory action movie. Director's name is Lexi Alexander.
Okay.
Phenomenal director, I think.
Yeah.
But she said she really wanted each scene to have its own color palette. And you watch some of these scenes, and it's just like brilliant oranges, or like there's magentas with blues. It's a very graphically interesting movie.
Yeah.
It's eye candy.
Yeah.
You're just like, pretty colors. But no, I mean, it's just the it's not a very, it's got a plot.
Okay.
It's a traditional, like, Punisher plot, know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it for you because you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one that you need to check out.
Cool.
Like I said, he sets his broken nose with a pencil, and he just... I still cringe thinking about it, and there's one other scene that makes me go, oh!
Yeah.
Even though I've seen it like 100 times.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, that's my number 6. What's your number 5?
My number 5. Oh, this movie is so freaking awesome. And I'm a big fan of this actor, big fan of this trilogy, and that is Iron Man.
I had that as number 4.
Oh.
You're taking all of my movies.
I'm not taking all of your movies.
So you liked all 3?
I haven't seen the third one.
Okay. You're wearing an Iron Man t-shirt.
Yes. I'm wearing my Iron Man t-shirt. I'm wearing this Iron Man t-shirt in honor of you because I know how he's your
love
favorite
Iron
hero.
Man.
I know.
He's my favorite superhero.
I know. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. I'm wearing it just for you. I bought this shirt just for you.
Well, why didn't you, instead of buying...
Buy you the shirt?
Yeah, but you should have just bought me the shirt.
Christmas is in December. But yeah,
you're wearing an Iron Man t-shirt, man.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen all 3 Iron Man... Have you even read the Iron Man comics? Blasphemer!
No.
You are unworthy of that garment, sir. You are unworthy.
You just want to see me with my shirt off. Your mouth is saying, but your mind is going, yeah.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Now, I thought Robert Downey Jr. did a really awesome job as Tony Stark.
He's the perfect Tony Stark.
He
I
really
wouldn't
is.
want to see anybody else as Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And the fact that they keep talking about eventually having to replace him, I'm like, no. He's immortal. It's not going to happen.
I won't watch it. I won't watch it.
I will boycott.
Yeah.
Because we'll get something like Batfleck, you know. Yeah, it's like, nope, not gonna do it.
Maybe Ben Affleck will jump in as
No,
Iron Man.
not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
So why'd you pick Iron Man as your number 4?
Well, aside from the obvious reasons of he's my favorite superhero, I love Robert Downey Jr. in this role.
Yeah.
I mean, just the perfect level of snark, you know, that swagger, that I'm better than anybody else. And I think Jon Favreau, I mean, awesome director.
Yeah.
Awesome director.
Yeah.
He does things right.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Iron Man 3 kind of faltered because he was no longer at the helm. You know, when directors abandon ship,
Yeah.
I start to question. Aside from Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, the first movie and the second movie are like some of my favorites.
Yeah.
And my second favorite superhero was in number 2. I'm talking about War Machine.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not love a superhero called War Machine?
Yeah.
You know, with a big old freaking Gatling gun on his shoulder. It's like, check, please.
He's like
done.
Iron Man plus awesome.
No, it's even better because he was created by Iron Man.
Right.
Out of the first movie, who doesn't love the dude as the villain?
Yeah.
Like, I want to take over your company, man. And I know our one of our nerd overlords, Ian, is going to give me so much shit for, you know, calling him the dude when I haven't even seen Big Lebowski.
You haven't seen Big Lebowski.
I have not, but that's going to be resolved as of this Sunday.
Oh, it is. Oh.
Well, we're not talking about Big Lebowski in
Nope.
this. We are talking about comic book movies.
Yep.
So now that you've already claimed my 4th and 5th movies, I have to let you go another time so that I can wait until you get to number 3. And so help me if you take my number 3.
Oh man, I think I may be taking like your number 2 or your number 3. Why don't you go?
I'm gonna throw my pen at you.
Why don't you go first?
My number 3 was Avengers.
That's my number 3.
Whoop whoop!
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, baby.
Finally, we're on par. All right, so I love the Avengers movie. It was done by the mighty Joss, who is my all-time favorite. Joss Whedon also did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Firefly. It still hurts. And, you know, he's done various other projects that are awesome.
Yeah.
And I think he was the right person to bring onto the Avengers because, you know, when he killed off Coulson, he stuck to his, you know, Joss Whedon school of cinematography.
Right.
Kill a main character to bring people emotionally into the movie.
Right.
And it also gave them something to avenge.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, I think the Avengers, Marvel did a really good job on just tying up all these one-off movies that they've done, you know, like Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and they really kind of tied it all together and said, hey, we're all playing in the same universe, and I think it was done brilliantly.
I think it was done really well, too. Riley and I went to go see this movie. I think he just saw Thor, you know, and really liked Thor. And when we saw this, our minds were completely blown. Like you said, it's kind of like a super band, you know. You bring like the best of like the entire freaking Marvel universe all into one. I mean, that's what's awesome about the Avengers, you know.
You bring your A-team.
Exactly.
Ba-ba-dum-bum.
But you know, my favorite part of that entire movie has to be Hulk versus Loki.
Puny God.
You know,
That was one of the best lines from the movie. But my all-time favorite part of the movie, though, has got to be the after-credits scene where they're all sitting down in this busted-up restaurant
Yeah.
eating shawarma.
Yeah.
And they're all just sitting there just like completely exhausted, and you see Thor in the corner and just tear it into a sandwich. I think Tony Stark's like hunched over, just like chewing on something. It was just so awesome. It's like the total snark. And I love that ending quote. Well, we're done here. Anybody for shawarma? I know a place right around the corner. The other reason I liked, the Avengers is Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk and Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
I think he is the best Hulk we've seen.
I have to agree. I didn't think Eric Bana did a bad job. I thought the rest of the movie was kind of turdlicious.
Craptastic is the word you're thinking of.
But I think with what Eric Bana had, I think he did the best he could.
And what about Edward Norton as the Hulk?
I personally thought Edward Norton was a little too cocky to play the role.
Yeah. He was great in American History X.
Oh yeah, he was excellent.
Curb stomp scene.
Oh, good God. I mean, he was great in American History X. He's a great actor, but I think
he's not right for Hulk.
No, he wasn't. And I think Mark Ruffalo, I think he did a great job. I think he was the perfect guy. He's one of those guys. I'm not a big fan of his acting. He did a great job though as the Hulk. His acting was perfect for that role. Yeah.
Just the insecure and trying to keep the demon inside, and it's just his acting in the Avengers would make me want to see a standalone Hulk film with him as the Hulk.
Yeah, it really would. I think they could pull it off. But I think
definitely.
I think that the two other Hulk movies kind of almost put a bad taste in people's mouths. Where I think they need it. Obviously, they're doing another Avengers movie.
Yeah,
so,
and he supposedly has a bigger role in the next Avengers
which is great
movie.
Because I think he kind of almost stole the show of that. And to everyone's surprise, he stole the show. He really did. So I think once they do another Avengers movie, I really think we're going to see another Hulk.
Can I tell you what I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
I'm looking forward to the battle between Hulk and Iron Man with the Hulkbuster armor. Oh, that's
going to be cool.
Just the
the concept art?
The concept drawings for that. Yeah. Just like, yes, please.
Right? Seriously.
Yes. But I really want to know when they're going to transition Iron Man's armor into the color armor that it is now in the comics.
Oh, the kind of black.
The black and yellow.
Black and yellow, yeah.
Black and yellow. Sorry. I think Iron Man looks badass in black.
He really does. Well, I didn't know that because I don't read the Iron Man comics.
Don't start.
But I've been reading the original Sin comics since you recommended them to me, which are fantastic, by the way. But that's on another episode.
That is down the road and to the right.
Yeah. But when I saw Iron Man's uniform, I was like, "Holy crap, that looks awesome!"
He doesn't wear a uniform; he wears armor.
Armor, same thing. He puts it on.
If you're going to say he puts it on one leg at a time, that is wrong. He stands on a platform and it forms around him.
Or he drops a suitcase by his ankles.
That was in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that was in the comics. I don't know. I'd have to go back and read my back issues. But yeah, definitely Avengers. What do you think of Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury?
I like him as Nick. He's a hell of a lot better than David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
He's a badass motherfucker.
Right? There are snakes on this motherfucking plane.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. That movie had the worst concept ever. But somehow it did well.
Right? Because it had him in it. That's why.
Maybe. All right. So since we both agreed on number 3,
yep.
Did we do your number 4?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we didn't. My bad. I'm sorry. That was my fault. We kind of got a little bit off track here.
All right. What's your number 4?
My number 4 was The Crow.
Really?
Yes. I love
a movie I have not seen.
Really?
I keep meaning to watch it.
Yeah.
But then I always think I'm finding something better to watch.
Right.
And a lot of times it turns out to be something from the 80s.
Right.
Like The Last Starfighter.
Oh, that movie's so great.
God,
Such a great movie.
so campy, but so awesome. Oh, that's another show.
Yep. But yeah, my number 4 is The Crow. It was Brandon Lee, as you know, it was Brandon Lee's last movie. He actually died on
set. Yeah, didn't he get shot?
Yeah, he got shot by
A blank cartridge hit him.
yeah. But yeah, it's basically, I'm not going to spoil it for you.
I appreciate that.
But it's one of those awesome like revenge movies that's just, it's spectacular. The cinematography, the storytelling,
The cinematography. I was like, I suddenly want a churro. The cinematography
of the movie's phenomenal, and the story is awesome. It's just a really great movie. If you want to see it, I have the DVD. It's
I think it's on Netflix right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it is.
Okay.
But I think, isn't it one of those movies like Highlander 2 where they did like multiple versions of it?
Oh, dear God, dude. So after the awesome success of this movie, they did 2 more, which were freaking horrible. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you, Kirsten Dunst, for ruining this.
She was in The Crow too?
She was in the 3rd one, I believe. I can't remember because it was so bad.
You have blocked it from your brain.
And then they actually had a series.
Yeah, I remember that being on TV.
Which supposedly was good. I never got into it because for me it was just
Too much
about
pain.
this movie. I didn't like any of the sequels, the series, or anything. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, I'll have to definitely check that out. All right, so I'm going to now tell you what my number 2 is.
Okay.
Number 2. My number 2 is 300.
Oh.
Originally a Frank Miller comic.
Yep.
Perfectly done on the silver screen. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was graphically beautiful. I mean, it
Yeah.
looked like, just kind of like what my list has been a running theme of all
Yeah.
night. It looks like it was torn from the comics.
Yeah.
And I love this movie. I went and saw it with our friends Becca and Justine.
Nice.
We went to a theater showing of it. And I
God,
remember...
I wish I could have seen that movie in the theater.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, I remember thinking in the theater, it's like, wow, the visual effects on this movie are awesome.
Yeah.
And you had Gerard Butler as King Leonidas. The Tree of Bodies. Do you remember that?
Oh, good God. Yeah.
I remember seeing that in the theater, and I'm like, what? The whole tree was made of bodies. Hence the Tree of Bodies.
Yeah. No, that was crazy.
I was at Comic-Con one year, and they had the miniature. Mm-hmm. The actual miniature they used to film it. And it was so detailed.
Right.
And I was just, like, blown away.
Right.
But, and of course, the movie that spawned a million memes, "This is Sparta!" And they made a sequel to it that just came out recently.
Really?
I haven't seen it yet, but, it looks good. It's like kind of like the aftermath of what happened.
Okay.
So it's something to see. I didn't hear great things about it. It wasn't
Right.
one of those movies that everybody was talking about.
Right.
But I'll see it.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your number 2? Number 2.
Okay,
Number
so
2.
my number 2. Oh, this was really difficult to make it my number 2.
You're going to take my number 1, aren't you?
I am gonna. You want to just do your top?
I already
your
know
top
what it
2?
is. I'm done. I'm done. I'm taking the earbuds off, and I'm walking away. You have been undercutting me this entire show.
So why don't you go first?
No, I don't even want to. Go.
Say your number. Say your number 2 and your number
Just so you know, your number 1 film is Craptastic. There, I said it.
It's the nostalgic feel.
It's
the nostalgic feel.
Bullshit.
You just claimed all that shit for your nostalgic feel.
Yeah, but that was me saying it. It's different.
Okay,
Your number 2 is the Dark Knight trilogy.
It is the Dark Knight trilogy.
I love these movies.
I love them too. I really.
And they are so much
really,
more. They are so much better
really
than
do.
your first one. They're so much better than your number 1.
The number 1 pulls on my heartstrings, man.
Yeah, I bet you that's not the only strings it pulls.
No, but the Dark Knight trilogy is nothing short. The only.
And
word
just
I
so
can
we're
describe-
clear, we're talking about the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
because there could be said that there is another Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
But no, this is Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
My favorite out of those three films, The Dark Knight, this second film.
Yeah.
And it was a great movie, but let's be honest here.
Yeah.
That was Heath Ledger's movie.
It really was.
It was all about the Joker in that movie.
It really was.
Nobody gave a shit about Batman. They were like, more Joker.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit about Batman. Nobody gave a shit about Two-Face. It was all about the Joker. It really was. He, for the longest time, Jack Nicholson was the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
And
everybody was like living up to Nicholson.
Yeah, and when they first casted Heath Ledger as the Joker, people were like, what?
Yeah, I remember that. The dude from Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah. And then you see him on the screen, and he
was somebody else.
Yeah.
And, I remember reading an interview with him where he was talking about how he really struggled after he did that role because, he didn't take Robert Downey's advice. You never go full retard. But, he threw himself into that role and he became the Joker, and he had a lot of problems dealing with it afterwards. And I think that's kind of why they thought he overdosed.
Right.
Which, terrible tragedy.
Right.
If not for the fact of there was a loss of human life, but we did not get to see Joker in the third movie.
Right.
Because I think he was originally slated. And I know it sounds really horrible that I'm saying that, but imagine the possibilities.
Oh, God. I can't even imagine what would have happened or become from if he wasn't gone. But yeah, my favorite part in that movie was
the pencil trick.
What?
The pencil trick?
No.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you for 2 seconds to talk about this pencil trick. I went to the midnight showing of this, and I will never forget this, because when I went with a group of friends, I let my friends go ahead of me and buy their tickets, and then I went and bought my ticket, only to discover that they got put in one theater, I was in another one.
No.
So I was thankfully able to sneak into their theater.
Okay.
But still, I was like, so not cool.
Yeah.
We're sitting in the theater, and Joker walks in, and everybody's like, awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like, you want to see a magic trick? And we're like, Joker's going to do magic. This is going to be great. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to make this pencil disappear. And we're all waiting for him to be like some like hack, magician, and be like, there, it's gone, and then have like some monologue after that. But then the bodyguard gets up and he slams his head into the pencil, and he's like, it's gone. Everybody in the theater was like, what just happened? Oh, but I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Now, one of my favorite parts in that movie was, the Joker and his team of thugs was like wreaking havoc on Gotham, and there's a part where they're going through the tunnels, and he's in the police car, and he sticks his head out the window, and it was like one of the first times where you see him like smile, and he's like, "That's right, I did all this shit."
Just a look of pure joy,
right? And it was just that for me was like, it was almost artistic. Because it was just like, oh my God. And I think that part right there really just
But that's what makes great. That's what makes Christopher Nolan such a great director.
Yeah.
And I really wish he'd do more stuff, because I love his. Inception, one of his movies, awesome fucking movie.
Totally.
The Dark Knight trilogy, awesome fucking movies. Yeah. I know he's done more, but those are the ones I can think of right now.
Yeah.
But he does such great films.
Yeah.
And you can't even call them movies, because they are films. They are beautiful. There was a little joke in the movie, and I don't know if it was intentional.
Okay.
But I leaned over to my friend during the movie and whispered this in his ear, and he busted up laughing at one of the quietest parts of the movie.
Yeah.
So they recast Katie Holmes' part with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Right.
Okay. Who is the sister to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right.
And I think you know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
at one point in the party scene, when Heath Ledger's Joker is in there and Maggie Gyllenhaal is in there, I leaned over to my buddy and I say to him, watch, he's going to lean over, whisper in her ear, I fucked your brother in another movie. Because Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger were in Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
So, it made him bust up laughing. He had to think about it just like you did for a second there.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh.
I thought the third and final installment of the whole Dark Knight trilogy was also amazing. I thought Tom Hardy as Bane was fucking phenomenal. And
no, Batman, I expect you to die.
I thought his role as Bane was great. And I thought Anne Hathaway as Catwoman,
unexpected pleasure.
Dude, the first, like, I think 10, 15 minutes of that movie where she's like this kind of like wimpy, like little girl, then all of a sudden, like,
bam, psychopathic thief.
Yeah, and you almost see it. Like, you go, whoa, she just turned into fucking Catwoman.
Yeah.
And it was that one was great.
You know, for weeks after seeing the third Batman movie, I was like, all right, any day now they're going to announce Joseph Gordon-Levitt in his own Nightwing movie. Because at the very end, not many people caught this unless you had like laser precision hearing.
Yeah.
But they announced that he is Dick Grayson.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, Nightwing movie. Here we go.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan directing Nightwing. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, perfect Nightwing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I was like, and then they actually had to come out and say, no, we're not doing a Nightwing movie. And I'm like, you were stupid.
Yeah.
You set that up for a Nightwing movie.
Yeah.
And you did nothing.
Yeah. He's a great actor, and I think he would play the role so damn well.
Oh. So well.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole thing, if you're going to fight crime, you should wear a mask. Like, yes. You know, that was the only thing that really detracted from the three movies for me.
Right.
You know, is Christian. He played a great Batman and a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But the whole, will you argue me?
And it got worse each freaking installment. It's like, okay, you're kind of grumpy. Okay, you're really grumpy. I can barely understand you. Okay, you're really fucking grumpy. I can't even understand you right now.
I know you're angry, but I don't know what about.
I could understand Bane better than Batman.
I can't breathe in this thing, but I can talk clearly. And suddenly, I'm Darth Vader.
No, there was a great parody. I'm going to have to find, if I can find the link to the parody, I will post it in the show notes. But there was a link to a parody where it was the interrogation scene between Joker and Batman.
Right.
And Joker is just like, I don't get what you're trying to say. Can you use some nouns? Sound it out. You know, it's like, will you want to kill me? I'm not getting it. Is anybody else getting anything? You know, I understand there's words in there. I'm not sure if there's words. And
I think I've seen that one. Yeah,
slugs him.
Great.
There's fists. But no, I have to find that parody because it was just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So, all right, now that you've spoiled my number one, what's your number one? What's your pile of crap that beats out the Dark Knight trilogy?
It's not a pile of crap. All right, so my number one, and Brian is getting ready to hang himself right now.
I'm gonna hang myself with my earbuds.
My number one is Superman with Christopher Reeves.
Yak.
Now, granted, if we saw this movie today, it probably wouldn't be that great, but for me, this is the movie.
I'm sorry. I have two words for you.
Okay.
Superman 4.
That's coming next.
Okay. So wait. Superman 1, okay.
Yeah.
Even though physically impossible. Okay. Let's say that superpowers exist in the world. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's say there's a Superman.
Yeah.
When Lois Lane falls off the building and goes plummeting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say she has enough time to reach terminal velocity. When Superman swoops in with his arms of steel, he would cut her into 3 equal halves. And yes, I stole that from Big Bang Theory because it's true. But continue with how awesome Superman is.
But anyways.
In case you can't tell, not a Superman fan.
No, he doesn't like Superman, but that's okay. But no, Superman was the movie that started the whole... I think it was one of those movies for me that helped me become a nerd, really get into comic books and superheroes and everything. I mean, what kid my age, when we first saw the first Superman movie, what kid didn't go and grab their parents' bed sheets, put it around their neck and pretend they were Superman? You know, it was awesome. Every kid out there wanted to be like Superman. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
My mother will attest that when I was...
Were you even born when the first Superman came out? No.
What year did it come out?
I think like 78 or 79.
Yeah, no. But my mother will attest that when I was a little kid, I did not want to be Superman, even though I had seen the Superman movies. No, I wanted to be Batman until I discovered the Iron Man comics.
Yeah.
But I had the Batman underwear, I had the little Batman cape, I had the Batman shirt, and I would run around the house.
And was this
This was just yesterday. No, I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, Superman's my number one. I thought with what they had, the lack of technology that they had, they did a great job with it.
Okay, this was 1978.
Yeah.
Do you know what came out the year before?
Oh, Star Wars, yeah.
So don't you pull that lack of technology card with me, mister.
Yeah, but they didn't even, you know.
They didn't even try to make the movie good? You're right.
No, you're wrong. It's awesome.
All right, I think I've berated you enough. That was our top 10 list.
Like you always do.
It's my job, you know. All right, so that's going to wrap up our top 10 comic book movie list. But before we go, we put a little message out on the Facebook page asking our nerd overlords what their favorite comic book movie was. We got some feedback on it, which is great. Adrian, nerd overlord Adrian, says his favorite was The Avengers.
Good choice.
So, excellent choice. It was on our list. Nerd overlord Ron said that his favorite comic book movie was Thor. Another good choice.
Yeah, another good choice.
All right. Then we have Nerd Overlord Adam, who said, so far I've enjoyed all the superhero movies that have come out in the last couple of years, especially stuff from Marvel. So, not bad. He kind of likes it all.
Yeah.
Very good. And then we have Nerd Overlord Christopher, who says, don't really have a favorite.
Chris, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific than that, bud.
Yeah, you got to narrow it down. I know it's hard. There's so many of them out there.
Especially lately, like Nerd Overlord Adam said. You know, there's all the Marvel ones that have came out have been quite phenomenal.
Yeah, there's been a few misses, but
true.
You know, for the most part, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that's going to bring our show to an end. Thank you so much for listening to our top 10 comic book movies. And we thought we'd do a little something different tonight than any other previous podcasts that we've done before. We're going to leave you with a little bit of music. This group is out of Madison, Wisconsin. They are called Haliwel. And this is Original Sin.